This is how you parse the data and convert the data to the actual format. So I would like to create now, let's say I would like to place a insert button, and before that I would like to provide a checkboxes to each record. I don't want to add all the records, I would like to add only the selected records. So that is a wrapper concept again. So it's up to the custom logic. So up to the requirement. So in case if you wanted to add the checkboxes and providing some selections, so you can create one more parameter, public boolean, some parameter, a boolean parameter. Initially this can be the false, and even by default the value is a false. You just make it a false initially. This boolean value is false initially, and you can add the checkboxes. Apex. To place the checkbox we use input checkbox and value equal to w dot is checked. And if you want to add some header, let's say select. So just adding the checkboxes to each record to select the data. So this is a checkbox, and I would like to add the buttons to, for example, let's say page block buttons. Command button value equal to insert selections or insert selected contacts or something, or else save action equal to some method name, action name, do save. So this should be a method in your controller. I'm declaring a method do save. So if it is a page reference, you must return something. So let's say return null. So here you have to write the save logic. So how can you write the logic? So this is again a wrapper class logic. So I would like to select few records. When I click on save button, I would like to save the selected records in the contact object. So once you select the record, which means that this boolean property becomes true. So I have declared a boolean property. Property name is checked. So checked is a property. So what you can do is you need to check the property whether it is a true or false. Once it is true, what are the selected records which comes the value true, and create a contact data. So repeat a for loop for your data is in wrapper contacts obj wi and the list is lstwi. Actually your list is lstwi. I'm iterating each record because the data is in the form of wrapper, and compare each checked equal to true, then only I would like to create the records. So what you can do is just create one contact list to add the data and one normal contact instance. Objc equal to new contact, objc dot last name equal to objwi dot what is the value name, objc dot contact id, cid underscore c equal to objwi dot which is id, objc dot what are the other parameters. So email equal to objwi dot email, objc dot I would like to store in mailing street, which is a text area field, equal to objwi dot address, c dot what is the next mobile phone equal to objwi dot mobile, objc dot so which is gender equal to objwi dot gender. Finally lstc dot add of this contact. So here is lstc. I'm adding the data to lstc. Now the data is added to the contacts list. So you can write rest of the loop. Don't perform any DML operation inside the for loop. So just out from the for loop. If check if there is any selected records greater than 0, the data is greater than 0, then insert LSTC, insert the record. In case while inserting, if you get any exceptions, you just add the try and catch bug to handle the exceptions too. So if you have any exceptions, so we know how to handle this. We have created a web service log in previous class, in previous session. You can use the same approach even here. Okay, I just remove the logic. So anyway, you can create, in case if you get any exception, you can create a web service log. So name is an auto number. What is the service name? So if you get any exception, I'm trying to create a log. Field is service name, timestamp, and error message, and status, and object is a web service underscore log. Log dot. So if it goes to the catch block, which means it's a failure. There is some exception in the service. Get message stamp equal to system dot now. So you get the IntelliSense support. So use the IntelliSense. What is the service name? HTTP callout controller is the service name. So we got an exception here. Contacts controller. Just put outside so that this log variable can be used even in the catch. In case if if you don't have any errors, so this can be empty. You don't have any errors. So just use log status equal to success. And finally, just insert the record. Insert log. So once a record is created, I mean once a contact is created here, once a contact is created, so it will create a success log even. And I would like to return to the same page. Return new page reference dot set redirect of true. And what is the page name? My page name is http vf. Save it. I mean once the save is done, we are back to the same page. Refresh the page and check whether the code is saved or not. Refresh the page. So now let's see. I'm selecting C200. When I click on save button, some syntax is missing. So the error is related to what is error message? Expression is required on the action attribute. Seems this is an error in the Visual Force page. Action equal to do save. Let's see. Save it. And let me check the code. It looks correct. Okay, the error is in the return statement, so you have to use slash apex slash. Save it. Now refresh your screen and go to the contacts also. Go to the contacts. So as of now, new this week. So in this list I don't have any contacts. So I did not create any contact in current week. Refresh the screen. So I'm selecting the first contact and click on save button. So let's check the contact in the contact object. And check the web service log too. Let's see if there is any error you find here. Okay, so invalid email address. So something, the mapping is not correct. Let me check the mapping. Email equal to email. Okay, mailing street equal to the address. Phone equal to phone. Gender equal to gender. Okay, somewhere gender equal to, so mismatching here. That's why it is showing. It's an invalid email address. Go here. Make sure the mapping should be correct. So ID to ID, name to name, address to address, gender to gender, email to email, and mobile to mobile. Yeah. Save it. And go to, see, this helps you to track the logs. In case if your service failure, it will create the log record. Refresh once. I'm selecting 200 and 201 customer contacts. Save it. I don't see any errors here. Go to the contacts. See, I can see two contacts. So if you open the contact, any of the contact, you can see the contact ID and the gender and the name and the mobile number and what is the phone number and what is the mailing address. So these are the 6 parameters we actually getting the from the response. So and you can add one more enhancement here. So let's say once the contact is created, I don't want to see those contacts in the list because actually you don't need. So this was already created. Why do you save it again? So you can have some enhancements for this. It's up to the customer logic. So if you wanted to add that also, so what you can do is probably you can query the existing contacts. You query the existing contacts and you can compare with the response data. So let me show you that. I'm going to query the list of contacts I have. ID, last name. So you can compare with the CID because CID is our external ID from contact where CID not equal to null. You can keep the limit because of the SOCL limitation 5000, and probably you can create a set variable set of contacts, set contact IDs equal to new set a string variable. So this is a for each loop. Iterate each record, and set contact IDs dot add of this CID, which is a part of objc. Objc dot objc dot cid underscore underscore c. So what are the contacts which has the contact ID? So you simply get those records, and whenever you prepare the response, so here you are preparing the response to display the data. So you can just put a condition. Here is a contact ID, right? If set contacts IDs dot contains is a one method which allows only for the set variable. You can just use this objwi dot contact ID. If it not contains, you can use the negative condition. If it not contains the ID, then only add it. So if it is already there in the database, don't add. Save it. This is a condition just to display only the new contacts. Refresh. So initially you see I have 200 and 201. Now I don't see 200 and 201. I'm selecting 202, 3, 4, 5, 6 and inserting the data. Next time when the page is loaded, you see the remaining list. You see the remaining list. So like this you can handle your custom logic. It's up to your enhancement. This is part of the Visual Force and Apex development. It's not an API programming. So if you know Visual Force and Apex, what are the logic you get? I mean, what are the response you get? You can just convert your logic according to that. So that's how we generally deal with the service callouts. So if it is a JSON, we simply use the JSON parsers to parse the data. If it is an XML, so we use some DOM classes, DOM dot document object model classes to parse the XML. How simpler it is. So in case if you go to the contacts, if you delete C200, delete it, and now C200 is not in my database. When you refresh the screen, again it will make a call out and check the data is existed in the database. If it is not existed, then it will display so that you can perform the additional YAML. So any questions you have?
Uh, I mean, this is a regular Apex and Visual Force doubt. So now, I mean, in this select query, right, you are, I mean, limiting it to 50,000. But let's say we have a huge data in the contacts. So, I mean, is it a good practice to write this logic?
Yeah, so what you can do is you just skip this logic from here. Don't write initially. So once you get the response, you go to here. So once you get the contact IDs, you can write here. Probably you can write here and put the condition CID not equal to null or where CID, no need to look for all the records. CID in this contact list, right? So that you get the to get only the contacts. So in this case we get only, so let's say how many records in the response. We have total 13 records in the response. You get only 13 records. No need to limit that. Any probably you don't get more than 100 or 200, or even if it is a bigger response, you get probably 1000 records, not more than that other part of the response, right? So you don't hit any governing limits in this case. Instead of writing initially, so once you get the contact IDs, just filter the contact IDs based on the response. So now you don't need to even put the limit here. So just put some 1000 limit. You get only, it looks for only the contacts which is part of your response. So in case if it is existed, it won't show you. There is nothing. It's a good practice actually. It won't look for all the 50,000s of contacts. Just look for 13 records. This is a Visual Force base code. You can just go through the class notes. This is a class code. This is the class code. So let me know any other questions you have.